Let's do this thing, orange and blue today. Family. That's right. Solo information assignment. We got to talk about a big Broncos win. Feels great, baby. Feels great for the Denver Broncos to get this win. And certainly loving it. That's right. Orange and blue today. Broncos win over the New Orleans Saints. And a lot to get to on a Friday show. Glad everyone is here and jumping in the chat room. Again, I'm Cecil Lammey here on a Friday, feeling good and feeling happy and feeling like, well, the Denver Broncos can have some lessons from this big win. What are the three biggest takeaways? That's what tonight's program is all about, because takeaway number one is that this is a defensive focused team. We know that Vance Joseph and this Broncos defense hunt quarterbacks on the regular. We know that the Saints don't have a good quarterback option in Spencer Rattler. I'm not going to take victory laps on say, where are all the Spencer Rattler supporters now? But I mean, if you'd tell from some people, Rattler was a better prospect than Bo Nix. Now, Bo Nix has some things to work on. We'll get to those a little bit later in this program. But when I look at this Broncos team, like, what is their identity? No doubt it's 1,000% defense. They need to help that identity on the opposite side of the ball, on the offensive side of the ball. It is no doubt a defensive-minded team. And Vance Joseph has everyone working together as one. And that's reflective also if we just talk Sean Payton and the culture of this team. You know, what is the culture of the Denver Broncos? It's sticking together and it's being selfless. Like, that's probably part of the takeaway on the defensive identity thing is this team is selfless. They are not selfish. They are not full of players that are only concerned about themselves. They're full of players that love each other, that want to win for each other, and that'll go out there and get it done. As we look towards what this Broncos team can be going forward, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good about what you've seen, about what more is there to see with this team, and, how they can continue to come together, because nobody's busting through that door in terms of their togetherness. Nobody's breaking up what they've done together and how they've looked together. And I think it's absolutely fantastic when we talk about the construct of this team and look towards the future and what else can be there. And when you see, like, hey, now people are coming around again, like, we've got to kind of stop or pause with this little bit of a roller coaster, I think, that we've seen from people out there. Like, the Broncos, they're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. Like, all right, everybody, you got to talk wisely about this team. 7-9 wins were always within the range of possibility. Okay. Nothing really has changed in that manner. Could we discuss postseason? You want to see more, I think, and I want to caution people against not taking this win the right way. I want to caution people against just kind of overlooking what this win really is, and enjoying this win. I want people to enjoy this win. You should be enjoying this win. The Saints stink. The Saints have given up on their coach. Like, there's no doubt that that's what happened. But that doesn't mean you can't have a great Friday. That doesn't mean you can't be super excited and super happy about what this team has done and get excited about what they can be going forward. That's what we need to look at as a whole with the Denver Broncos and with this Broncos defense. And I'll give you several examples of their togetherness, because they are all together. All for one for all. Print up the t-shirts. That's the Broncos' mantra. And defensively, for example, when Jonah Ellis and Zach Allen arrive at Spencer Rattler at the same time, and it's a half sack for either, neither one of them is disappointed that the other shared part of their statistics. Now, you would say naturally or normally, like, well, guys aren't going to be like that. Well, not all players are like that. I've been doing this a long time. Been around this team for 20 plus years, 21 years, 20 years actually, as a credentialed member of the media. There's been some players that were more on the selfish tip, and when they didn't get their love, they were upset by that. So offensively, you don't see that, but defensively is where I wanted to start, because the biggest takeaway, in my opinion, number one, is defensive identity on this team, and that's just what they're going to be. You got to lean into it. I don't think the Broncos should be shying away from that. The Broncos can't carry their weight yet. You want to get them to a place where they can. They need to do that by running the ball. They did that against the Saints. And, we can talk honestly about how the Saints did give up. But we also can talk honestly and be like, this is the best defense in the league that without Pat Surtain almost had a shutout. I don't know about you, but raise your hand if you were pissed off that the Saints actually got a score at the end of the game to make it 33-10. And it wasn't just because I was writing a story and I had the lead already done at 33-3, and then they score. I'm like, okay, where's the whiteout? Wasn't on a typewriter, but you know what I mean? So erased it, said 33-10. Yeah, whatever. It wasn't really that close. Had the Broncos offense been a little sharper, they might have dropped 50 on them, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did just a few days ago on the New Orleans Saints. So the biggest takeaway from this is just let the defense lead the way. Let the pass rush lead the way. The return of Baron Browning was great to see. And you want to see Browning get more up to speed, get more involved in terms of what he's doing for this team going forward. That's all fantastic. That's all great. And, kind of fit in there with Jonathan Cooper, Nick Benito, a sack in the last 5 games, each of the last 5 games. That's fantastic. That hasn't happened since Von Miller did it. It's been a minute since that was the case. No one on that defense is like, hey, those are my sacks or whatever. Everyone's super happy for each other. You see the work of PJ Locke. You see the work of Brandon Jones, players that needed to be talked about more. Include Levi Wallace. They played without Pat Surtain. Now they did it. Spencer Rattler's not good. All right. And again, I'm not going to break my arm, patting myself on the back, because I'm about the only one that said Spencer Rattler can't play. Besides the NFL, told you with his 5th round pick, they didn't think he could play either. The Broncos did like him. I was afraid they were going to take him in like the 2nd round. There were some draft analysts, using air quotes, that said Spencer Rattler could go in the 1st. Morgan Freeman voice. He would not go in the 1st. But yeah, Rattler can't play. But this defense showed up and showed out without Pat Surtain and made a guy that can't play look like he can't play. They made him really look bad, comical at times, embarrassing for most of the night. The Broncos defense did that. They didn't make a bad player with not a lot of film on. Remember, when there's not a lot of film on you, you can take advantage of defenses. The Broncos have done that years ago with Trevor Siemian when there wasn't a lot of film on him. And it was like, wow, do you got something here? Again, the answer was no. Morgan Freeman voice. Trevor Siemian was not the franchise quarterback. Like, okay, but you took a guy like Spencer Rattler and you made him just look comical. Like he shouldn't even be out there against that defense. And you did it without the only 1st rounder on that defense, Pat Surtain. And again, raise your hand again if you kind of get pissed off by the no-name defense. We'll get to know their names. They've got names, they've got games. And a name that I think needs to be highlighted, because for 2 games, basically, they've played without Pat Surtain. Levi Wallace hasn't missed a beat. And of course he's not good as Pat Surtain or all these sorts of things, but you add a Levi Wallace, and Levi Wallace was added in case Riley Moss wasn't ready. Riley Moss is totally ready. Riley Moss is a fantastic player, fantastic corner, and great to talk to Riley every week like I do in the Broncos locker room. But Levi Wallace steps in with no Surtain. You don't miss a beat. You can still rush. You can still cover. Cody Barton everywhere. let's put a pin in that for just a second, because everyone's talking about Barton, which they should, but I want to highlight the guys like a Brandon Jones, like a Levi Wallace, um, like a Quan Alexander, even like a Justin Sternad, because Quan Alexander out there getting more work, and a guy like Justin Sternad, again, back to why this team is selfless and this defense is selfless. Well, you can tell right there, because you see it on the field, and Quan Alexander's getting more play, of course, the first time with the Broncos, and Justin Sternad's not bothered by that. He's not upset by that. He just goes out there and leads the team in tackles. So you love to see that. Again, the togetherness of this unit. I've talked to Jonathan Cooper. I actually should just dig up the clip. We've probably played it for you on this show. But like Jonathan Cooper said, we all love each other. We all hang out, and that's something, again, not every team is done. Sometimes the offense is split from the defense, and the defense is going, those guys suck over there, but we're doing our job. I did my part. I'm doing my part. I didn't even blank. Like, that's what sometimes the offense has done here. You've also seen rooms where the defense is split. Well, if they'd only use me more. Well, if the coach would just call this differently. Like, there's none of that. It's full belief. It's full effort, and it's full focus from this Broncos team in terms of what they have to do, how they have to do it, and who has to do what. Not a do your job thing. I don't even like saying do your job, thanks to Josh McDaniels, a big jerk. But it's everyone doing what they need to do in support of the other. It's not, I'm doing my part, and then I don't really care about what the others got. I'm doing my part because I don't want to let my brothers down. I don't want to let my teammates down. I know that Zach Allen is going to get pressure. I know that John Franklin Myers is going to, help stuff the run and be penetrating in the middle. Like, I know that those guys are going to do that. So if I'm anyone else on that defense, I am making plays to help them because they're going to do it for me. And the pressure that you get from Allen and Benito, this list is long, by the way, JFM, right? I already said Benito. I'll say him twice. Jonathan Cooper, the pressure that you're getting there, Jonah Ellis, it's rewarded on the back end by the play of the players in the secondary, whether that's Brandon Jones, PJ Locke, Levi Wallace, Riley Moss, whoever, whatever, Jaquan McMillan, all making plays and all doing it for each other. So you love to see that because it's, all together now. I think that's the best way to put it for this Broncos defense. And they're doing it also for their offensive brothers on the flip side there as well. The Broncos defense is leading the way. The Broncos identity is defense. And to tie best into that defense, what is another big takeaway? First big takeaway, defense is their identity. Second big takeaway, they need to use Javonte Williams more. Now, it was disappointing in the Chargers game, but it's a week-by-week league. What did he do this time against a team that can't tackle, that allowed over 300 yards rushing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? The Denver Broncos got him for over 200 yards rushing. I'll take it. It's not 300. I wasn't asking for 300, but I was asking for 200 yards rushing, and that's exactly what the Broncos did. So you love to see that. You love to see how this team can get out there and run the ball against a weakened opponent, and how Javonte, which he should have got 20 carries. He should have got over 100 yards. Again, back to the selfless thing. There's so many things on the selfless tip, which I guess maybe should have been the number one takeaway instead of defensive identity. Whatever is whatever. But on the selfless thing, Javonte didn't get 100, could have got 100. You'll never hear anything about it. Javonte probably didn't even really think about it. He was so close, you'd be inclined just as a human to be like, yeah, almost at 100. And I'm sure family members, always defending you, will text and like, oh, should have had 100. Okay, yeah. But Javonte's not ate up about that. He's not going to be all up in his feelings about that. They didn't get me 100. The last 100-yard rusher for this team was Latavius Murray. It's been a while since the Broncos have reached the century mark on the ground. Last 100-yard receiver, I believe, is Marvin Mims. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I believe that was week 2 last year. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Could totally be wrong. On a Friday, a feel-good Friday. And, feeling good about this Broncos defense. Feeling good about the Broncos rushing attack. And they need more of it. I'll go Kylo Ren on you here. More. Like, it needs to be more. It can't just be what you did out there and, 60 yards. You had a couple of games of 60-yard efforts. The Jets game in a downpour, the Raiders game at 88 yards now. Okay, 60, 80. Bump that up for Javonte. I think if it's 88, I think that's a real good number, because 60 yards a game, you're going to get 1,000 yards. Don't make me do math, but I know that math is close. You get to 88, 90 yards rushing for Javonte, get him a century mark. That's fantastic. I believe the NFL record for 100-yard games, Barry Foster used to have it. I don't know who has it now. And Barry Foster did it for the Steelers. And I think he had like 12 of them, something like that. Again, all that's all top of my head type stuff. But like, okay, I'm not saying 100 for Javonte every time. But I'm saying, like, okay, you did 60, done. Now do 80. Do 80 every week. Have an intent every week of giving him 15 to 20 carries and 80 yards on the ground. And as a receiver, Javonte's going to get you, 20, 30, 40 yards receiving. So there's 100 all-purpose yards. If Javonte Williams finishes with 100 all-purpose yards, in fact, I got to write that down. Have crack producer Kevin Kistner look that up, because when Javonte's had 100 all-purpose yards, it seems like they win a lot, right? Seems like that's a pretty good indicator of what they do in terms of W or L at the end of the game. You get Javonte Williams 100 all-purpose yards, you're going to be on the right side of that ledger. You're going to give yourself the best chance to win, and I believe that's what the Broncos need to do going forward. Now, not a hot take. I hate hot takes. And, whatever. I'm not doing ass cracking ball sack radio. It's mayhem in the AM. But I'll say this. I don't need Audric Estime to touch the ball again this year. Sorry. You can't have 10 carries or 9. What's his carries number? 9 carries. You can't have that and 2 fumbles. That's just impossible. And, I guess it's not impossible. He's done it. But you don't want him to do it. You don't want him to get rid of the ball any further. And he has to pay for his errors. He has to pay for his mistakes. This team, and on the season, 9 carries, 56 yards, 2 fumbles, and no targets and no receptions. So you have a one-dimensional back that can't hold on to the ball, that fumbles once every 4.5 carries. Yeah, no thanks. Sorry, Estime is really nice, and I believe Estime has skill as a power runner, but this game comes down to trust, and you cannot trust Audric Estime. Can't trust him to stay healthy. He's banged up in the offseason, banged up in the regular season. Can't trust him to hold on to the ball. 2 fumbles and 9 carries. That's disgusting. All right? And no targets and no receptions. So all you can do is run, and when you run, you drop the ball, and the other team gets it. Yeah, you're not going to get the ball. So if that's Tyler Bidet when he's ready to play, if that's Blake Watson, if they can get him back on the practice squad again, I just did a 4-hour radio show. Somebody update me if that's happened by now. Traveled to New Orleans and then got cut. Sorry, Blake, but it's the NFL. It's pretty brutal business. It's a cruel business. And yeah, Audric Estime, it's a brutal business. Welcome to the party, pal. You're not getting the ball. Like, that's what needs to happen. Javonte needs more. Jalil's role is about the same. Jalil McLaughlin, his role is always going to be that change of pace guy. They don't seem to trust him to do more, and that's fine. He's always like so close to breaking the big play. If he just would have broken that tackle, and he never breaks that tackle or gets away from that shoestring tackle. We even saw it against the Saints. So if Jalil McLaughlin's role is, 3-4 carries, 3-4 receptions, yeah, let him touch the ball 8 times, maybe 10 times. That's what you like. Good. Then more Javonte. And then we get to Bo Nix. Number 10 on the field, number 1 in your hearts. Bo Nix in the rushing attack. And there are plenty of concerns. I urge everyone to watch the QB School. JT O'Sullivan, who does a fantastic job. He threw out a couple of tweets today like, is it weird to be concerned on a 4-3 team about Bo Nix? No, it's not weird. It's correct. It's correct. Now, it's 7 games. But there are very concerning things with his footwork that need to be discussed. I'll get into that a little bit later, but I'm talking about running the ball. Running the ball is going to be Bo Nix. Bo Nix was a dual threat quarterback, the number one dual threat quarterback when he came out of high school, when he went to Auburn, when he was a runner, and he failed at Auburn, and he struggled at Auburn. But also at the same time, I want everyone to know the Auburn film, it's like this legendary, boogeyman. Oh, at Auburn, man, he was Auburn. Bo Nix, he's terrible. That's not necessarily the case. He wasn't the Bo Nix that got drafted in the first round. That's for sure. But I'm going to sound like a total football snob, and I apologize. It is a Don't Be That Guy Friday, but it's like, don't be that guy, but I'm going to kind of be that guy because on certain things, I'm a snob. I can always tell the people that didn't watch the film when they're like, Bo Nix was terrible at Auburn. Tell me about a play. Well, I mean, he was just Auburn. And then the next level of that, either you have people that don't watch and then like, Bo Nix sucks. All right, well, tell me. Well, I mean, he just sucks. I was listening to Nick Wright on fake ESPN. Like, how about you don't do that? And then there's the next level of that, the people that just look at the box score. Well, at Auburn, he was 50% passing and blah, 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 blah. Okay, watch the film. Did you watch the LSU game? Did you watch the game against Oregon, against Justin Herbert? Did you watch that? Because I did. Did you watch his games? Did you study his games? Do you know what you're looking at? Like, he was not good at Auburn. He was not great at Auburn. But he wasn't as bad as people claim to say. Plus, the fit was bad. I don't think the fit is bad. I've had some questions based on, a Chargers performance for the first 3 quarters. He doesn't do much. And then 189 yards passing in the fourth quarter against the Chargers. So I have questions. I have concerns. I think everybody should. It's fair. It is unfair to just be like, nope, he's great. Or nope, he sucks. Like, that's dumb. Don't be dumb. Don't be in a cult. Okay? And so with Bo Nix, I look at it and go, we have Auburn Bo. We definitely have Auburn Bo right now. We have runner Bo. We got a runner. Run, Bo, run. Because the other stuff isn't working right now. It's not working in the way that you want it to work. And it's on you to get better, especially in a game like that. Sean Payton called a perfect game. Sean Payton was on the money with his game plan. Now, it might be his familiarity with Dennis Allen, much like the Tampa Bay game plan was on the money, but he's also very familiar with what Todd Bowles does. So it's like, okay, Sean, are we figuring stuff out, Sean? Because you already know these guys, Sean. Okay, maybe that's the case. We'll see what happens going forward with this team and with Sean Payton and Bo Nix as a runner. You have Auburn Bo, but I want to urge and advise everyone. What happened after Auburn Bo? Now he left. He had to transfer. Okay. You don't want Bo Nix to leave. You want Bo Nix forever. But after Auburn Bo came Oregon Bo. And if you can get glimpses now, while Auburn Bo is here. Auburn Bo is here. The autumn leaves are here, and Auburn Bo is here. But if you can get glimpses of that Oregon Bo, if Sean Payton can set him up and further call these great game plans, great game plan from Sean, no doubt, then you're going to have something special. Or as Brandon Stokely would say, special. You're going to have something real nice with Bo Nix out there. Get him from Auburn Bo to Oregon Bo. 3 biggest takeaways. Broncos defense is their identity. Second takeaway, they need to run the ball and run it some more. Third takeaway, I guess I'll say they're selfless. I've got more to say on that, specifically about Courtland Sutton. But you have a game. Imagine if Brandon Stokely had gotten 0 targets. Especially diva Brandon Stokely. And I'm talking with Payton because when Brandon Stokely was with Peyton Manning, he's a diva. He might be a diva now. He might have been a diva in Baltimore when Trent Dilfer was out there. And they had that great defense. And Super Bowl 35 is still one of the worst Super Bowls in history. But thank God Brandon Stokely had a touchdown in that game. But, think about your normal receivers. Think about Emmanuel Sanders. I love Emmanuel Sanders. But if he doesn't get any, if he didn't get any targets, he would let you know about that because that's what Emmanuel Sanders does. The selflessness of this team comes through because they've bought in on Vance Joseph. They've bought in on Sean Payton. They bought in on Bo Nix, and it's why that belief in Nix, guy like Courtland Sutton, no targets, no catches, no nothing, doesn't matter. He's out there blocking his ass off. He's out there on, they have levels plays, sale concepts basically, but levels plays where it's, you're going to run a clear out and then you're going to have somebody underneath. And so it's kind of an easy pitch and catch. And there's a play, little Jordan Humphrey and Courtland Sutton were running clear outs. And then Troy Franklin's underneath, and it's an easy dump off to Troy Franklin. Well, if you watch that play, you'll see that Lil Jordan is running and Courtland Sutton's running a route. There's a difference. Somebody is showing you, I'm going full out because the ball might come to me. And somebody's showing you, yeah, it's probably not going to me. Okay? Now, this is more nuanced, right? But defensive coordinators pick up on this. Defenders usually pick up on this. If you're not checked out, like the Saints were totally checked out, you beat down a totally checked out team. Still be happy, still build confidence, still build momentum. Confidence is more important because it lasts with you. Momentum goes away. But it's like you have Courtland Sutton out there giving full effort, knowing that he's not going to get the ball much, knowing that they're going to run away with this game, literally run away with it because their defense and Cody Barton's playing out of his mind. And then your offense is running it down their throat and Sutton's fine. He's not even bothered by that. 0 targets, 0 catches. Sutton's fine because he's selfless, because of the culture that has been built by Sean Payton. Now you're watching Orange and Blue today. You may be listening to me on Denver Sports Tonight. We're talking about this Broncos team, the big Saints win, big takeaways, got him down there. But what about, Cody Barton? What about players like Quan Alexander? Can this Broncos defense keep it up going forward? And have they found a new leader defensively? Well, I'll tell you next. Hi, everybody in the chat room. I am Cecil Lammey, and I am double dipping. This is going to be Orange and Blue today, which you're watching live. And I'm also going to cut up the audio, and so it's Denver Sports Tonight, so I don't have to have another hour on. I could just use this audio. Thank you for that. Anyway, all right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Broncos defense leading the way. Cecil Lammey on a Denver Sports Tonight, also a special edition of Orange and Blue today. Andrew Mason on assignment. But I want to talk about Cody Barton because Barton was one of those players, like he signed. Not a lot of people know of him, which is fine. One, he's a defensive player. So even if you're a big fantasy football player, you just may not know, who is this guy? Well, you know who this guy is now. Certainly Spencer Rattler knows who this guy is now. And you love to see it out there on the field. And in fact, what he's done for the Denver Broncos, being the green dot guy since Alex Singleton has been banged up. And with Barton, I look at it and I go, this is just the beginning. And again, it's Spencer Rattler. He's not good. And it's a team that has completely given up a lot of business decisions there. We're never going to ignore the truth, one, because you can't. The truth is a wicked mistress, but it's not meant to make you feel good. And the truth of the matter is the Broncos beat up on a terrible team. The Broncos beat up on a team that has given up. A Broncos team beat up on an offense with a rookie quarterback that's not good. They beat up on a team that doesn't want to play for Dennis Allen. At least that's the way it seems. Is Dennis Allen fired yet? I haven't checked. I don't have my alerts on my phone. My phone's generally off as I try to relax a little bit. But Cody Barton, he's on, right? And so when the move is made, I was like, okay, Barton, special teams guy and coverage guy, worried about him against the run. This was his reputation, like coming into the Denver Broncos. And again, it's who he was, right? Well, then you see Alex Singleton go down and you're like, oh my God, that's their run stopper guy. And Singleton has questions and coverage, really nice guy, great hair, although my hair is better. It's like, okay, great guy, run stopper, limited in coverage. Cody Barton, great guy, special teamer, not necessarily run stopper, but then better in coverage. Although he was one of those, king of the clap plays where it's like, oh, damn it, I was right there. I almost had the guy. No, you don't want that. You want to get the guy. Well, last night, Cody Barton thrived in a breakout game, and he got the guy, and he got the guy again, and he got the guy again. Playing with a physicality and an energy, and maybe it's, Justin Sternod being so motivated to get playing time on defense as he was a multi-year just special teams guy, and he's gotten an opportunity. He's taken advantage of it. Maybe it's Quan Alexander and the veteran coming in. Quan's always been good. I think the Broncos got him like 3 years too late, 4 years too late, but he's here and he's playing. He's looking okay, like he did for the Steelers last year until he got hurt. Hopefully he stays healthy. So maybe it's the addition of Quan Alexander, that kind of veteran, next to Cody Barton, that helps him play better and more ferocious. Cody Barton was ferocious in that game against the Saints. He wasn't just a guy that was great in coverage and Spencer Rattler sucks, and that's why he was able to thrive. He was a guy that was attacking. And I'll go back to Vance Joseph and the fit. It's not just for quarterbacks. It's for everybody. The fit is for you. Cody Barton fits with what Vance Joseph wants him to do. Even without Alex Singleton, you see Cody Barton attacking the run, being very physical, like flying to the football, almost kind of in a scary way. It's like, wow, he has no regard for his own body. He has no regard for his personal safety. You see Cody Barton fly into the play, making plays, scoop and score. Oh my God, DJ Jones offsides. But then to go get another scoop and score. Again, it was like the Keystone Cops watching Spencer Rattler out there, and everybody rumbling, bumbling, stumbling around. Cody Barton took advantage. And for those out there, and I saw it last night on the post-game show, and I hope I don't see much more of it, honestly. Not because I can't look at stuff I disagree with. I just don't like looking at dumb stuff. When people are like, oh, the Broncos, yeah, I mean, the Saints suck, but the Broncos, whatever, they beat a sucky team. Well, thanks there, Einstein. What a great breakdown. But when you match up against a team that is terrible, and there is no doubt, there is no question, the Saints are terrible. When you match up against a team like that, you know what you do? You crush them. You crush their bones into dust. And that's exactly what Cody Barton did. So had they barely beaten a bad Saints team, let's say Spencer Rattler goes out there and slings 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Oh my God, Spencer Rattler. What if Spencer Rattler goes out there slinging it and Barton's he's too late to the play and he's behind on a pass to Foster Moreau or anybody that they had out there, because everybody was hurt except for like Bub Means. Even Bub Means was hurt during the week of practice. So, had that happened, you'd have a case. You'd have a case. You'd have a cause for concerns with the Broncos defense had the Saints been able to do anything. But when you run into a team that has offensive line injuries, wide receiver injuries, tight end injuries, quarterback injuries, you know what you do? You smash them. And that's exactly what the Broncos did. So what's the problem? I just think some people out there don't want to be happy about anything. And now on the flip side, you can't be like, they're in the Super Bowl. We all know that's not the case. The playoff conversation, again, that roller coaster, they're on the playoffs. They're on the playoffs. This is an entourage, right? Vince can do the movie. Vince can't do the movie. Vince can do the movie. No, stop. Enough, okay? Let's watch this thing. Entering this year, I said 9 wins. People thought I was crazy. That's a possibility. It always has been, if you understand how this team is constructed. But I want to shout out Cody Barton in this game because his play was simply outstanding. And I think there's more to come. Now, not every game you're going to go scoop and score, and not every game are you going to be totally on the money. There's been plenty of plays where Barton's been like a half a step late. There's been plenty of plays where Barton should have got the pick, but dropped it. There's been plenty of plays where he should have got the PBU, but missed it. Hell, on the Kamani Vidal play, Cody Barton could have dove and caught him at the end when Kamani Vidal runs that wheel route and he scores a touchdown. As I said, the Chargers' secret weapon is the rookie that hadn't played to that point, and then he scored a touchdown, and it's Cody Barton that's trailing him. So right there's a perfect example of where Cody Barton could have been better. But I'm here to tell you, after this sort of game, building the confidence from a veteran who's fired up and showing more. What more can you be? I think it's a question for all of us, right? In anything that we do. Like, you could do this. What else you got? Right? It's a Hollywood thing. My buddy Mark out there is listening. What's up, Mark? It's always like, yeah, that movie was a hit. What else you got? Yeah, Cody Barton, you're pretty good in coverage. What else you got? Well, he showed you. It was pretty good. Thanks. Appreciate that. That was nice. So Cody Barton, man, shout out to this Broncos defense. They're playing all together now. And it's simply fan flippin' tastic. It's a special edition of Orange and Blue Today. Or you may be listening on 104.3 The Fan. It's Denver Sports Tonight. I'm Cecil Lammey. And did Bo Nix surprise his teammates with his rushing ability? And what does Bo himself think about his rushing ability? We'll talk about it coming up next. Cheers. When you talk for hours on end, you must stay hydrated. And I hope you enjoy these little behind the scenes things. So thank you all. Chat room, I'll hit you up later. I'm getting this thing in the can so can have Friday night off. All right, here we go. We've got about 7 minutes left in 3, 2, 1. It's time to talk about Bo Nix, Cecil Lammey on a Denver Sports Tonight, a special edition of Orange and Blue Today as well. And if you're not watching Orange and Blue Today, what the hell are you doing? Watch Orange and Blue Today. Totally watch Orange and Blue Today. Thank you, and we appreciate you for that. Andrew Mason on assignment. Send him your well wishes via social networking at Mace Denver. But you know, Orange and Blue Today, it's 7 days. We'll take some days off since the Broncos playing on Thursday, but a 7-day-a-week show during the regular season about the Denver Broncos. What? Yeah, YouTube, Denver Sports. Check us out. Give us a like. Do you like Bo Nix running, and were you surprised by Bo Nix's rushing ability? Well, after the game, Adam Troutman talked about it, and were you a little bit surprised with Bo rushing as well as he can? Here's what Troutman had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I had no idea. Like when we drafted him and stuff, I had no idea he could run like he could, like he can. So, yeah, he's been doing great.
He's been doing great and leading the team and rushing seemingly every other week. Okay, that's cool. And as a young quarterback, that's just what you're going to do. You heard Zach Bye on the drive. Philip Lindsay, Zach Bye, getting it done. And talking about Josh Allen as a young quarterback, where he was pretty bad as a passer, but he was a runner. We got a runner, and he learned and he grew. Not all rushing quarterbacks do. Like, you know, there are players out there that just, you're a runner and you kind of just stay a runner. You don't want Bo to do that. There are 7 games in. Nobody can say he's going to do it or he's totally not going to do it. Like, I believe he will, because past performance can predict future results in life, not in investments, totally not in investments, but in life, 1000%, your past results can predict future results. Your past performance can predict future results. I totally got that wrong. But Nix's running ability, also something that Adam Troutman loved, and he talked about it after the game.
It's a whole nother dimension to his game that he's been able to showcase, and it's helped a lot. And obviously you saw, like, we can even, you know, we had a couple design runs. Like he had the long one, I think it was in the third quarter. But yeah, I mean, it helps put confidence in because he can make plays, you know. So if you can't get it going in the air, he'll get it going on the ground. So
I like that. I like what Troutman said. Like, if you can't get it going there, you can get it going on the ground. And it's an easier call, basically, even if it's a scramble. You know, you can just jumpstart it and get this thing going and get those explosive runs. The guys up front doing a great job blocking for Bo Nix, including one GB zone. Garrett Bolles, left tackle of your Denver Broncos, talked about Bo and his running ability.
It's special, man. Bo's a dual threat. You know, he can throw the ball and he can run. He's special, and you know, we needed to do our job tonight by protecting him, and you know, we created open lanes in the passing game for him to throw the ball to our playmakers, and you know, we got that, you know, the ball rolling. So when we got the ball rolling down the field, you know, it opens up lanes for him to do what he needs to do, and that's what makes him special.
Yep. Special is what I would say, GB, because this is a kid, again, as he learns the pro game, he needs to run. And 10 carries might be a little too much. I kind of like 5, half Eddie. I like 5 carries for Bo Nix on a weekly basis. Don't want to get hurt. You got to start sliding, Bobo. It's from Looney Tunes. Slide, Bobo, slide. Like, no, Bo, slide, please. For the love of God, slide. You don't want him to get hurt. Nobody wants to see Jarrett Stidham. Nobody wants to see Zach Wilson. You need to see as much Bo as possible. That won't happen if you're hurt, because you're lowering your shoulder against safeties and corners. And the one where Cam Jordan landed on him, I was like, oh my God. Like, if, and Cam Cam is a great one. A lot of his teammates were just checked out. Cam not. But there are defenders, and Cam is a really good player, obviously. But there's a lot of players that would have been dirty and would have like landed on Bo's shoulder, as you had an opportunity to do. He's kind of lunging forward. Cam landed more on his waist, like his hip, which also could present problems, but he could have easily landed on his shoulders. And if you squish your shoulders the wrong way with the turf, which doesn't move, and then Cam Jordan, who's 280 or whatever the number is, like now you're hurt. Now your shoulder's hurt. Maybe it's your throwing shoulder. Now you really can't throw. Bo's got a problem throwing the football. We seek the truth and speak the truth. And it's 7 games in. I'm not panicked. I want to see a little bit more going forward. But if that includes running the ball to get things going because it's not working through the air, it'll work on the ground, fine. It's a results-based business. You got to win. And again, having the memory of young quarterbacks that have struggled early on, people will bring up John Elway. That was 83. That's a different game. People will bring up Drew Brees. That also was kind of a different game. People will bring up Josh Allen. Closer, but I think the league has changed. Even since 2018, the league has changed. But just know it's going to take time. It's a 2-year thing, man. And for any of us to be like, Bo's the man or Bo's totally sucks, I think he's more the man. But like we just can't make that call. And, it's something that as he goes forward, we need to see more than just explosive runs. Bo did talk about his explosive runs after the game. Here's what your favorite quarterback had to say.
I think it's really good. All explosive runs are really good. I wouldn't say the past game was bad by any means today. We hit the big ones we needed, but we just ran the ball. So when you can run the ball, it's obviously easier that way, and it just opens up everything else. And so again, we got 3 points in a 2-minute drill. That was really good, and we're going to continue to find ways to have explosive plays and move the ball like we did today. And we just got to go back and duplicate it as the weeks go on.
Yeah, get back in the lab. Right, Bo Nix, get it back in that lab and make sure you're doing what you need to do to get better as a passer, which includes his feet. Again, QB School, JT O'Sullivan. Everyone go watch his YouTube channel. And he's had concerns about Bo's feet since week 1. I actually went back and forth with JT, who I know a little bit. And not like we're friends, whatever. But and I said, I have no concerns about his feet. That was week 1. I have concerns about his feet, week 7. Because we really haven't seen it get better. So again, super excited about Bo. You should be excited about this win. Nobody should be out there nitpicking everything. And I'm not nitpicking. I'm just telling what the truth is. The truth is Bo Nix's feet are not good. And thus his downfield passing is not good. He became a meme with that throw to Lucas Kroll. And yes, I'm a little pissed that it would have gone to Lucas Kroll for a touchdown for about 40 yards, 45 yards. Yeah, it'd have been nice, huh? But it is at least good to see the tight end involved. So Bo's going to take more time. Again, the 25,000-foot view of this thing is real easy. Hey, that rookie quarterback isn't a finished product yet. Well, yeah, no kidding. So when you just take that point of view, I think it's real easy to see, like, you can't say Bo sucks and the Broncos got it wrong. And you can't say, Bo's the greatest of all time and they got the best quarterback. Like, no, can't say either one of those things. You like what you see as a runner. You know that you have Auburn Bo. The quicker you can get to the Oregon Bo, the better it is. Now, you hear that sweet music, at least you may if you're listening on The Fan, watching this special edition of Orange and Blue today, listening to Denver Sports Tonight on 104.3 The Fan. You hear that Ronnie James deal, that means I'm out of here for tonight. I'm Cecil Lammey, enjoying a football Friday, enjoying a big win for your Denver Broncos. Many thanks to y'all for watching on YouTube. We're trying to get our subscriber count up, so make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. We appreciate you all very, very much. For Andrew Mason, who again is on assignment, I'm Cecil Lammey saying thanks to Dante Gomez. He's the man in the box. Stay tuned, and would you please stay frosty?